Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes. Coming up Sunday night on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, we'll be talking about Tropical Storm Milton, which is forecast to become a hurricane and then become a major hurricane as it tracks east-northeast and then northeast across the Gulf of Mexico. And this could be the second major hurricane to hit the west coast of Florida in less than 2 weeks. So be sure to tune in Sunday night on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. As we take a look at the satellite loop this afternoon, there are two systems here. The first one is the one to the east. This is a weak low pressure area that's producing clouds and showers in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. And in the western Gulf of Mexico, we have Tropical Storm Milton. It is offshore. We are starting to see that feathering of high clouds that develops when a system is starting to organize, strengthen. It's moving very, very slowly to the northeast, and it's going to continue on that track. And everything seems to be pointing to this to become a major hurricane before it's all said and done and before it goes into the west coast of Florida sometime on Wednesday. And as we look at the wider satellite view, you can see the northeast weather has been just delightful down into the mid-Atlantic states and into the deep south. Lots of sunshine today. Clouds that are moving across Minnesota, Wisconsin. That is the next cold front, and that's going to be moving through Sunday night through the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states. We could see some showers and maybe even a thunderstorm with that before dry air takes over. It should be noted, this is really important, with respect to Milton, this is not a repeat. This is not going to be a repeat performance of what we saw with Helene. The upper air setup with this is different. If you remember, we talked about a large upper air storm that dropped down into the lower Mississippi Valley. That was part of the equation with Helene. We don't have the same setup here. So this is going to just move along to the east and to the east northeast or the northeast, probably cross the state of Florida Wednesday into Wednesday night, and then emerge into the Atlantic Ocean and continue on its way to the northeast. So no weather issues for Georgia. The only issue may be right along the immediate coast where there might be some fringe effects with this from what I'm seeing at the moment. But as far as another round of big rains for the Carolina mountains and into the mountains of Tennessee, it's not going to happen this time around. I can pretty much guarantee you from what I see at the moment. Here are the hurricane tracking models, the guidance from this afternoon. There were two distinct clusters to look at. The one to the north, most of them take it very close to Tampa, and then on out to the other side. There are a couple of outlier models that are further south. If this winds up being a weaker system, it's likely going to take a track a little bit further south. The stronger the storm gets, the further north it gets. So these northern tracks are all reflecting a system that's going to become a Category 3 hurricane. And if we look at the intensity guidance, we actually have a few models taking it to a Cat 3, and three of them take it up to a Category 4 before landfall. This would be again sometime on Wednesday. The Hurricane Center forecast has it as a tropical storm, becoming a hurricane Sunday night or early Monday morning, and then becoming a major hurricane sometime during the first part of Tuesday. That's when you see it turn northeast. By Wednesday morning, the Hurricane Center has a major hurricane centered just to the west of Tampa, and then it goes northeastward out the other side. You can see that the cone, of course, is always wide. It widens as we get into the day 4 and day 5 time frame of the forecast. But I think this is going to be, should wind up being a fairly straightforward situation that we are looking at. As far as the weather is concerned elsewhere, we do have the Storm Prediction Center with a marginal to slight risk for severe weather in Wisconsin and northern Michigan today, this evening. No tornado risk is being indicated. Tomorrow, Sunday into early Monday, the Storm Prediction Center has a marginal to slight risk from West Virginia and eastern Ohio into western and central Pennsylvania and western New York, and this actually comes with a small 2% tornado risk. As far as rainfall is concerned, we're looking at mostly a tenth to a quarter of an inch. It's a bit more as you get up into northern New England over the next 7 days, where we can see a half to 3 quarters from New Hampshire northward up into Maine. And then, of course, you see the rainfalls over Florida, where they will be substantial here. We're talking 7 to 10 inches of rain, maybe some isolated pockets of 10 inches or more, particularly over central Florida. Again, this is all with Milton. Notice that WPC, the Weather Prediction Center, has no rain forecast for much of Carolina except the coast and on the west side of the mountains, and that's all from the cold front that's coming through. We're talking just a few hundredths here as far as rainfall is concerned over the next 7 days. Much of the country is going to be on the quiet side. So I'll give you two views of the GFS this afternoon. You see here Monday afternoon, Monday evening, Milton is there as a hurricane, and then it strengthens it to a major hurricane, taking it right over or just north of Tampa on this particular run. We'll probably see some shifting going on as we move through the weekend and into next week. Comes out the other side. You can see it grazes coastal South and North Carolina with a bit of heavy rain there, but all the strong winds are offshore. And then it moves away out to the east. That is what we anticipate happening here. And as far as the weather is concerned for the week ahead for the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states and for the Great Lakes, here come the showers for Sunday. You can see this line of showers Sunday night into early Monday morning. Behind that will be a chilly air mass that will drop into the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So temperatures are going to be progressively colder as we move through next week. Monday will be the warmest day, I think, and Wednesday night into Thursday will be the coolest day or the chilliest day. Certainly will be a real feel the fall in the air. And you'll notice that if we just keep on going here as we go to Friday and into next weekend, dry weather conditions, next chance for any kind of showers may not come until maybe next week. And even then, it doesn't really look like very much. So don't forget, we're going to be covering this all Sunday night on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, and that's at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.